welcome back to Business 150, Introduction to Management. We're now all the way up to video number 4 in our first module. As you can see from this particular title slide, we're looking at the topic of the big picture. That's right, the big picture. The whole shooting match, the whole enchilada, the whole ball of string, the whole burrito, the whole lump of cheese. Okay, I can keep going for a while, but you get the point, right? We're going to try to take what we've said in the first 3 lectures and put them all together into a big picture, a large perspective, the 10,000-foot view of what management does and how it does things well when it does it well. So, after you watch this entire video, you should be able to define the overall management process with a lot more detail and specificity than when you started this class, quite frankly. And you should be able to distinguish what it means to have efficient management and what it means to have effective management. All right? Now, it's easy to get those two terms confused, but they mean very, very different things, and both of them are very important. We'll talk about that in this video. Now, here's a bit of review, right? I might have told you this was your first tattoo in this class, right? The management process, the 4 major functions of management, which as you can see here, this is repeat by now, right? You know this by heart. Planning and decision making, organizing, leading, and controlling. That's what it means to manage, at least in terms of functions and activities. Now, that's not all that it means, right? Because in the very last video, we also looked at the fact that in order to do those 4 things, you have to take resources from the environment. Resources like human resources, financial resources, physical resources, information resources, right? That's what we looked at the last video. And what management does is take those 4 categories of resources, runs them through the 4 managerial functions in order to accomplish organizational goals efficiently and effectively. This diagram is the big picture of management. This is really the whole enchilada, okay, I'll stop that for now. Sorry about that. I get carried away. All right, so the big picture of management. In this video, we're looking at what does it mean to attain goals efficiently and effectively. Well, let's define those terms. Efficient, refers to using resources wisely and in a cost-effective way to get the very, very most out of the resources so you're not wasteful, so you're not squandering resources and opportunities, so you're not spending more money on resources than you really needed to if you simply were operating in a more cost-effective manner. And the second point, effective management, means making the right decisions and successfully implementing them. So let's see if we can give you some examples of this. Many of you know the wholesale store Costco. You have to be a member to shop at Costco, but if you do shop at Costco, you can get stuff in bulk at prices you can't get anyplace else. And very strange, for a company that sells everything that they sell at reduced prices, they are hugely successful. They are one of the best run, most successful companies in the United States right now, and have been for quite some time, right? So what does it mean for Costco to operate in an efficient manner? It means that they keep their cost structure very low. They themselves do not pay more for resources than they absolutely need to. They reduce their waste. They make sure that they don't operate in a wasteful manner. For instance, how many Costco's have you ever been at that have carpeting on the floor? Well, the answer is exactly 0. They run a concrete floor warehouse. Therefore, they don't have to waste money on replacing carpet, cleaning carpet, or any of those kinds of things. It's much easier and much more efficient and low cost to simply clean up a cement floor at the end of the day. And therefore, all throughout the organization, they have a very thrifty use of investment capital and their cash in order to pass those low costs, that low cost structure, on to their members and their consumers. That's an example of ways that Costco, a very successful operation, very successful organization, is efficient. That's somewhat different from being effective. And I'm not saying that Costco is not effective, but let's use another company as an example of what it means to execute effective management. Southwest Airlines. Many of us are familiar flying Southwest. You don't get an assigned seat. You line up in boarding groups, sort of like, right? And as cattle, you're herded onto the plane. They don't serve you a meal. They don't have any frills, but they are financially the strongest, most successful airline in the entire United States and have been for decades. How have they gotten so successful? Because of effective management, which means making the right decisions with the right timing and then executing it better than anybody else. Let me give you an example of Southwest Airlines' effective management. There was a point in time when every single airline was suffering financially. Why? Because petroleum prices, in other words, the price of jet fuel, was increasing exponentially at the most rapid growth you've ever seen. And that makes it hard because that's one of the key resources that an airline needs in order to keep its planes flying is jet fuel, right? Well, what was an effective, wise decision that management decided to put in place? Well, what Southwest Airlines did was they decided to buy petroleum futures. What does that mean? It's a financial transaction that sets in stone the future price they're going to pay for jet fuel. And so unlike other airlines that from month to month were held hostage to whatever the market would do with petroleum prices, Southwest nailed that down once and for all. They bought future contracts. We'll talk about that more when we talk about financing. But they bought future contracts, established their fuel prices, and therefore were able to weather the storm of huge rises in jet fuel prices better than any other organization. As a result, that helped them be an organization, an airline, that did not take on a penny of debt for decades, as opposed to other airlines that were essentially run on borrowing. And so they were able to effectively be one of the most frugal commercial airlines in the entire world. And that's what led them to their level of success. Operating in an effective manner, making wise decisions, helped to make them the most successful commercial airline we've ever seen. So, what does this mean? What we asked is that after this video, we were hoping you would be able to define the overall management process, which we hope you remember from that diagram, right? Resources coming into the 4 managerial functions, accomplishing goals both efficiently and effectively. And we hope you have a better flavor for what that actually means. What is efficiency in management? And what is effectiveness in management? Well, more on this, of course, like every module in the textbook for you to study as well. But we hope this has been helpful for you to understand the big picture of management. We'll see you in the next lecture.